When I started this series, I 100% intended on going through the AFC first, but I got kind of bored and I figured I should probably go through the NFC a little bit. So we're going to start with the NFC North because this is honestly a division where I do have some hot takes in it. I will be explaining some of these for sure because it's going to sound kind of outlandish, but if you guys are new to the channel and you want to see some more videos like this, sure leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And with that said, let's get right into it. I want to start off real quick with my favorite team, the Chicago Bears. This is definitely going to sound like bias, so I'm just going to say the record first, and then we're going to get into the nitty gritty of it all. I think the Bears are going to go 11-6. Now hear me out on this. I know automatically people are going to think, oh, you're so biased. Oh, like all of this shit, but like just hear me out on this one. Look at the schedule that I have right here. It's a relatively weak schedule. We're playing teams like we're playing teams like the Giants, we're playing teams like Houston, we're playing teams like the Commanders, Atlanta, Miami, and I do view Miami as a relatively weak team. Obviously, as you can see, I do have us taking some L's against some solid teams, including Minnesota. We'll get into Minnesota in a little bit. I do kind of want to go through my thought process on that. We do have a new front office. We have a new coaching staff. I don't give a shit who it is. Anything is an improvement from Matt Nagy, except for maybe Joe Judge. David Montgomery last season was 17th in the NFL in rushing yards, and he only played 13 games. And he did it while playing with 3 quarterbacks in the same season, and did it with one of the worst O-lines in all of football. I am not too familiar with Velus Jones, but I do think he will be a solid player. I might be mispronouncing his name as well, so excuse me for being casual. Cole Kmet is one of the more underrated names, I feel like. 12th among tight ends in yards, 13th in catches, and tied 8th in targets. Also did that with 3 different quarterbacks. Darnell Mooney finished 19th in receiving yards. He finished 42nd in yards per catch and finished 11th and tied 20th in targets and catches respectively. And he will be the undisputed wide receiver 1. Byron Pringle didn't do too bad either, one of our new pickups. He's super fast. He was 33rd in yards per catch and he had a 70% completion rate. And everyone wants to talk about how bad Justin Fields was, despite the fact of a shitty O-line and an incompetent coaching staff. He finished 4th in the NFL among rookies who have played more than 8 games in completion percentage. He finished most in the NFL among rookies with 8 or more games played in rushing yards, and finished 2nd among rookies in QBR last year with more than 8 games played. And he only started 10 games. There's a lot to be tapped into with our defense. We have a lot of young promise on our defense. We did lose a lot of established guys, obviously guys like Khalil Mack. We lost guys like Danny Trevathan. We lost guys like Akeem Hicks. But there are guys like Jalen Johnson, Jaquan Brisker. I do still like Eddie Jackson. We have Robert Quinn still, assuming he doesn't get moved. Kyler Gordon, I'm really excited to see. Thomas Graham, maybe. I know we saw him for like a little bit, but I'd like to see him again. It's mostly scheduling, but I also do like how I think the team will look. Next up is the Detroit Lions. The Lions had a really solid year this year in terms of draft and in terms of like signing a couple of free agents. Nothing really insane. They're on the upper tier of the league in terms of offensive line, but the only issue is their quarterback is one of the lowest rated quarterbacks in the entire league, Jared Goff. But he has the weapons around him. They drafted Jameson Smith. They signed DJ Chark. They still have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who had an excellent year last year. DeAndre Swift, one of the most underrated running backs in the entire league. More of a receiving back. I would like to categorize him as a budget Alvin Kamara in a sense. They have Big Cock Hawk. I mean TJ Hawkinson, my fault. They obviously drafted Aiden Hutchinson. They have Amani. Overall, a solid team all around. I don't see them being really a playoff team, but I do have them improving from what they did last year. And last year, they weren't even as terrible as people make them out. They had a lot of close games, but the thing is, they just couldn't close out in those close games. I do have them going 6-11, which I believe doubles their win total from last year. I think they only won 3 games last year, if I'm right. And next year, I think they're going to draft a quarterback. I don't know who, because I'm not familiar with the quarterback class, but yeah, Lions 6-11. I don't think that's too outlandish. Next up, we have the Green Bay Pack. This is going to be one of the more interesting teams in the league. This team lost a lot in free agency. They lost Devontae Adams. They lost Marquez Valdes-Scantling. They lost Darius Smith. They lost a decent amount of their defense as well. So let me run down their offense for you real quick. So they have Aaron Rodgers. They have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, of course. They have Allen Lazard, Christian Watson, and Sammy Watkins. I didn't even know they had Sammy Watkins. I'm looking at the depth chart right now. Of course, they have Randall Cobb. They have Robert Tonyan, who should be back. They do have Mercedes Lewis, who's pretty solid. Their O-line's kind of iffy. David Bakhtiari is kind of injury prone. That's kind of like the big name on there. But it's kind of an iffy O-line if I'm being real. They do have some solid players on defense. They have Jair Alexander, Donnell Savage, Adrian Amos, etc. In my opinion, the team lost a ton. With how much scrutiny people on that team, Aaron Rodgers, brings to that franchise, maybe it's just me, and I'm not doubting Aaron Rodgers' ability at all. I think Aaron Rodgers is a top 3, if not top 2 quarterback in the league currently. One of the most talented players to ever play the game of football. I don't know if guys like fucking Sammy Watkins, Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, I don't know if that's going to be like your main. They lost a lot on defense, but it's still a solid defense. Their offense looks honestly abysmal outside of Rodgers and Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, of course. I do have them going 8 and 9. And finally, the Minnesota Vikings. This is one of the more interesting teams that I've kind of talked about. I'm going to say this right off the bat as well. I have them going 14 and 3, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh my God. Initially, I had them going 15 and 2, but then I realized I fucked up one of the picks. But yeah, 14 and 3 is what I have them going as. Now, hear me out on this one. The Vikings improved their defense a decent amount. They picked up Zadarius Smith. They picked up Jordan Hicks. They still have guys like Harrison Smith, Danielle Hunter. They got Patrick Peterson, and their offense is among one of the best offenses in football. That's honestly, like, that's been their issue. It's been their defense and it's been their coaching. They got rid of Mike Zimmer and they got Kevin O'Connell. And I'm not sure if you guys knew about Kevin O'Connell, but he was the offensive coordinator for a winning Rams team that went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. I think the Vikings are going to do really well, assuming everyone stays healthy. I think, honestly, in a sense, they have to do well or else Justin Jefferson's not going to be in Minnesota for much longer. If Dalvin Cook can stay healthy, that would be great. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we could debate a wall on that one, but I do have Vikings winning the division. I have Bears going 2nd. I have Green Bay going 3rd. And I have Detroit going 4th. Tell me what you guys think about these predictions down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys are new and you want to see some more videos like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And that's it for me. I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.